How are the children? I mean, your children. How are your children doing? Your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. How are the children? I know I'm oftentimes asked that question. How are the children? Of course, I think about my 3 children and my granddaughter, and usually they're fine. And when they're not, I ask for prayer. But I'm asking a bigger question right now. How are the children? Marion Wright Edelman and the Children's Defense Fund oftentimes ask that question when they think of, in terms of, we need to be concerned about more than just our children, our own immediate household, our own nuclear family. How are the children? The Children's Defense Fund talks about what happens every day in the life of a child here in the United States of America. Let me share with you some of the statistics that our strategic ministry partner is engaged with when they think about America's children. 2 mothers die in childbirth. 5 children are killed by abuse and neglect each and every day. 5 children or teenagers commit suicide. Today, 18 teenagers and children will be killed by firearms. Today, 186 children will be arrested for violent offenses. Today, 1,204 babies will be born to teen mothers. Today, 1,240 public school students will be corporately punished. Today, 2,573 children will be born in poverty. How are the children? It's not enough to just be concerned about our children, but we must be concerned about all children. John Kinney at Virginia Union Seminary, School of Theology at Proctor there, talks about how important it was when he was growing up, when his teacher told him that until all children learned their multiplication tables, it was not enough for him simply to learn his multiplication tables. In the same way, I think, it's not enough for Kevin and Aidsand and Imani and Nyla Jean to have a bowl of cereal in the morning. We cannot rest content until all children are able to have food for their bodies, education for their minds, and an uplifted human spirit. In the 2nd chapter of the book of Acts, it talks about 4 important ingredients that I think we need to focus on when we ask the question, how are the children? You remember 4 stories there. First of all, that chapter opens up with Mary and Joseph, loving and concerned parents who surround Jesus with love and nurturing. Our children will not be fine until they find themselves in the presence of loving, nurturing adults who are able to care for them. Stable parents, stable communities. Children in poverty are so oftentimes the children of adults in poverty. How are the children? The children will not be well until adults are able to have a living wage, able to afford a house or home or shelter. How are the children? Requires a stable family for our children. But it's not enough to just have that own singular focus of a household. A child has to be surrounded by a community of loving persons. And then we find there in the 2nd chapter of Acts the story of ordinary people, the shepherds, who were concerned about this child who was born in their community. And they came to surround him, to see him, to nurture him. I can still remember 1269 East 139th Street in Compton, California, right there in the center of the block. 10 houses on each side. Each parent, each family claimed all the children because for them there was simply no ordinary children. We all belong to them. It has oftentimes been said in the West African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. I would encourage us today to understand that we ordinary folks must look at children in extraordinary ways and raise them and care for them and focus on them, even as these shepherds focused on Jesus. It also takes a religious community. There in the 2nd chapter of Luke, it also talks about Simeon and Anna, these religious figures, these elders in their community, these religious figures who blessed Jesus, who praised Jesus, who prescribed a future for Jesus, who saw in Jesus more than perhaps others saw in him. The religious community needs to step up to the plate and concerned about our children, particularly with regards to the relationships of discipleship, of community, and having a just and safe world in which to live. And then we find that toward the end of that story, Jesus, there with the leaders of the community, the teachers of the community, not only is he interested in them, but it is clear that they are interested in him. For they are asking him questions. They are involved in his life. So it takes a village to raise a child. Loving parents are loving elders in the community. It takes those who are concerned about all children, not just their own. It takes those in the religious community. And it takes a larger community of elders and teachers. So I ask you today, how are the children? And certainly I pray that yours are fine. But I also pray that we can step up to the plate and be concerned about all children and praying that they are fine as well. May God bless you and keep you. But more than anything, may God bless and keep our children.